natural eternal life. Let us think about the possibility of a natural eternal life. Of what would it consist? There is the eternal life of everything we each do, feel, think, or otherwise experience, since once anything happens, it has effectively happened forever. We do, all of us, not only the great and famous, live on in our deeds. We might consider this our basic eternal life, which develops as we live, and which we can strive to make as great as we can. We find, as part of it, the continuing life we have through our children. We also live on in the memories of those who love us and some of those who simply knew us. There is also the broader continuance we can have through helping, breeding, planting, or otherwise contributing to the well-being of other forms of life. Finally, all that we are and do become part of the immemorial fabric of human achievement, which is part of the natural eternal life of the earth, and so also of the great universe itself. 2. When we consider the varieties of natural eternal life we can have, the real question becomes, what kind of eternal life do we want? 3. Everyone who tries to be good for life will be immortal in that way. 4. Since we are made of molecules that come from the earth and return to the earth, we can say that, the earth being part of our natural supreme being, we come from, live as part of, and return to our natural God. 5. Of a supernatural eternal life in the usual sense, we may imagine if we choose. 6. One of the inescapable misfortunes about belief in another life is that it devalues the uniqueness and, to an extent, the blessings of this life. 7. Now that we know how molecules combine and separate to constitute our physical selves and all other living things, we realize that there is a more accurate description of the process than dust to dust. It is life to life. As you know, every moment of what we shall call our individual or unitary lives, the molecular gifts that make up our physical beings are joining and leaving us at the rate of millions a moment. The ones that constitute us when we complete our lives may be seen as our final molecular gifts. Nature, by the rapidity of our decay, gives us every indication that it is eager to return them to the life cycle. We can elect to free them promptly, or to rely on the slower processes of nature. Either way, their natural tendency is to go from life to life. Here's a thought that obviates burial and accelerates the return of your final biological components to life on the earth. You might decide to have your oxidized molecular remains spread where plant life is abundant, maybe where cattle graze, to hasten their rise back up the ladder of animate life. Admittedly, becoming a new frond of grass or a sip of milk isn't as rewarding as you might find delighting on the earth again as your renewed individual self, but at least part of you has made a comparatively rapid transition back to animate life. 8. The natural processes of life invite us to return the molecules that make up our bodies after the completion of our unitary lifespans to the surface of the earth, because they are capable of combining into new animate life, that is, to let them rejoin the eternal process of animate life to inanimate life and then back to animate life, or, less accurately perceived, as the transformation of life to dust to life. 9. Creation seems to instruct, by the beauty of fall leaves, that going among the wastes of time should be, rather than unremittingly somber, a glorious salute to life. 10. When a sun is spent, it flares and incinerates the solar system it has warmed throughout its lifespan. So we are following the ways of creation when we return our still vibrant molecules to the life cycle and let them live on, instead of assuring that they will be locked in a coffin for eons, with little chance of becoming active on the surface again. Besides, do you really want to lie in the same position for eons? 11. Humans invented graveyards, and we can bury them. Let your cremation, or more appealingly, your oxidation, be your final salute to life, and let the verdant earth be as it should for the living. 12. Since matter does not leave the earth, unless by way of a space shot, it's exciting to realize that every atom of every person who has ever lived is still pulsating among us. 13. When we each complete our lifespan, we begin, as the ongoing effects of our lifelong activities, our natural eternal life. If there turns out to be a supernatural one, if anything can be more super than the natural, well understood, then we may be as surprised and delighted as anyone else, and trust that, by devoting ourselves intelligently to this life, we have demonstrated that we would welcome and deserve a pleasant subsequent one.